Hey guys, so how's everyone doing? Hope you're well. As promised, it's not too bad in here today. I think we're in the mid 40s, so we're going to fool with this 365 some. I'll just be brutally honest with you. I have 4 of about this same saw and enough parts here probably to build a couple more. I've got almost about a whole 2166 John's Red that we're going to build in a future video, so this saw here will be the first of a couple, but we're going to get this one cleaned up. I'm going to do some test cuts with it before to make sure it's sound. We'll do a compression check, and then we're going to pull it down, clean everything up, do a base gasket delete, do a little mild port work on it, do a muffler mod on it, and this saw is more than likely going to go on eBay for sale unless someone on the channel wants it. I just ordered an OEM decal to go on this cover, so I'll have the decal on it. I don't think I'm going to do any paint work on it at all, but, you know, there's some discoloration on the handle. And the aftermarket starter cover and clutch cover is a little different shade, but, you know, we're just going to try to put together a good firewood or work saw here, and, you know, I'm not going to start the bid out on it at some super high price, but I've got an idea in my head, but, you know, I'm sure the saw will go for an affordable price, and we will pair it up, the bar and chain. It'll probably be the one that we had on the 61 and that we ran on the Simple Man's 390 build. It's OEM Husqvarna bar and chain. Pair it up with that, and I'm going to try to locate a felon spike to go on it as well. So yeah, with that said, let's see how it starts this morning. Now take note, the wire for the kill switch is missing. I'm going to have to deal with that. And this starter cover for some reason is kind of acting up. I've got to deal with that as well and see what's up. I'm sure it's just something simple, but it's ice cold. I've not had it running today. Probably no need to use the decomp on this. It's only 65 cc's. See how she starts. I had it running last night, so it shouldn't be too bad to get it back up and running today. Let's try it without the choke first. Mainly because I flooded it, shut it off last night. Now we'll choke it. I don't know why I grabbed that throttle or the kill switch to shut it off, but I'll tell you what, while it's warm, now I am going to do test cuts with this thing shortly. I'm going to have to locate one of those. It does look like the clip that goes on the air filter to hold it down is missing. I'm not sure I have one here or not, to be honest with you. Well, maybe it ain't missing. It's there. I'm just being silly. Air filter's kind of filthy was the problem. It was kind of blending in there, and I've got you guys under a video light, so we'll blow the air filter out before we put it back on, and I almost knocked you guys over. I'm really good at that. I thought this saw was the one that had a bad fuel line. It's a little stiff, but it's not bad. We'll probably change it anyway. Let's check compression on the old saw. Gonna see where we're at with it. And this video is probably gonna be long, but a lot of you guys like longer stuff, and I'll try my best to keep it drama free. Kind of hard for me to do. Scrunch. I'm trying to find a scrunch, guys. There it is. Under a bottle of what looks like Super Tech power steering fluid. They had a bunch of fluids on sale at Walmart. Like, I think it was like $1.50. We bought a quart for my daughter's Eclipse. It was like almost 11 bucks. Okay, so we definitely need to put a plug in it. I've got some new auto light plugs laying over here. Let's just seal and get blowing out. We did take the saw. There was some fuel coming. We choked the saw to shut it off, so we don't want to check compression to wash down the cylinder. We are on 0. Take that in consideration if you're checking compression. If you've got a saw that's floody, that floods easy, it's just one of them deals you may want to check compression with it out of fuel, or maybe shut your low jet off, because I have seen some where the cylinders wash down and show a false low compression reading. Let's see, we'll give her a few good pulls. Stalled out about there. We have got hopefully that'll pick up. Not even 120 psi, more like 110. It's definitely lazy. Probably just gonna be a case of some worn out rings. I'd really be surprised if the cylinders hurt as easy as it starts and as good as it sounds. You know what, we're still gonna put a new plug in it and take it out and do a few test cuts with it. And take note, we did flood that. It could, like I said, it could be reading low from that, but I did pull it over and blow the cylinder out, but still could be a little washed down from being flooded. To shut it off, the proper way would be to kill the ignition, but once I get into it, I'll replace the ignition wire on it to where the switch will work. But I do have a new ring here for it to go in it if it, you know, I feel it needs it. I've got new seals as well as all kinds of new fuel line. Like I said, it's a little stiff up top. The impulse line's a little stiff, so we'll probably look into changing some of that out. So it's not going to be a kind of a fair before and after comparison, but mainly I do a lot of that just to kind of show you what I like to do here. I like to take saws that are, you know, about junk someone else has traded off or thrown away or scrapped, and you know, we like to bring them back to life and make them a good usable saw again. You always want to check your plug gap. This one seems like it's a little thin. I've had that since I was probably, I'm gonna say 17 years old. Long time ago. Old feeler gauge from Advance Auto. That one probably gapped around 20 thousandths. That's not too bad. That's probably about right on this application. The hotter your ignition system is, the wider a gap you can go. Most late model vehicles with, like, you know, really hot ignition systems, you know, you can open the gap up to 50 thousandths or better. But what we'll do next is I'm going to blow this air filter out and get it back on and get the top cover back on, and we'll get it barred up. I'll bring you guys back then. Well, guys, we are all about honesty here. I can't sell this saw. Ain't many people gonna want a saw without filling spikes on it. I guess you could put one of the outer ones on it and just do it that way, but we're probably gonna have to have a case half on this. I have a set of 20 166 cases out here that are okay. If I was building this just for myself, for something to play with, and I don't throw nothing away, I wouldn't throw these cases or that case half away. I actually have a set here in my cabinet that one of them's the same way. It is why I got it on when I built my 365 that we done with the 50mm setup. I'd actually got on eBay and bought a case half, and if you guys remember, I had one orange case and one red one sitting there on the bench, and put up a community post picture on it. But this one will have to be put on the back burner. I don't think I want to dive into a whole complete case split and redo here today, but I'm gonna shoot a video anyway. But you know what, for the hell of it, we just gonna put a bar and chain on it and go out and make some cuts with it. And you know, I know someone may still want it with it that way, but I can get more money out of it if the saw's in, you know, near perfect form. So we'll get a bar and chain put on it, get some oil in it, and go out and see what 115 psi is going to get us in the test log. But I'm willing to bet that the cylinder was just washed down from being flooded out. I'm kind of wondering if the decomp wasn't half stuck in on it or something. It felt like it moved out. What we may do is run it again and then run it here and yank the kill wire off while it's warm and see if compression picked up. You know, it'll be a pretty good little test today, but the way I set my chains up, I don't really need dogs on them anyway. But you know, if you're felling a tree or chain gets a little dull, you know, they're needed. But we'll get her barred up, get some oil in it, and I don't know, go see what we've got with this turd. Alright guys, I've got her barred up. You ain't familiar with the channel, it's a Husqvarna chain. I don't remember the part number, but I bought these bars and chains. They were like, I think it was right around 60 bucks for 2 bars and 2 chains. But this thing has the craziest drags or rakers on it you've probably ever seen. I do have a pretty good grind on it though. To get that chain to cut very well at all, or to have I just used my Oregon gauge that lays over all of the cutters and drags to set them. I think it sets them at like 25 thou. Some of the drags I had to take like 15 swipes off of, but we've had this chain and bar set up on a couple saws now, and it pulls a pretty good chip. I put just enough bar oil in it to make a few cuts and a little more fuel just to make sure we didn't run out of fuel. We'll take this old saw out back and you know, make a few cuts with her, but it'll probably be another video another day. We'll just do a complete tear down. I'm gonna have to go through my stuff, and I know I've got one good set of cases out there. I don't know if the crank's good in them. If it is, we'll just split those cases, and they're 2166 cases, and do some new bearings and seals and just swap everything over onto that. But honestly, if I've got it all down, I'll probably do some paint work on things, and you know, we'll just have to see. I've got 2 other saws here. I've got the that thing, it's strong, really strong. It was the second 372 kit saw I done. There's several videos on it. I've got a chrome plated cylinder from the Duke on it. It's got a pop-up in it. Really strong saw, just mild port work on it. Like I said, there's video on that. I'm half tempted to put that up and see if we can get a little money out of it. But I've got, let's see, I've got a 2171. I've got the 365 we completely restored. I've got this saw. I've got the saw many colors. I've got, well, I guess that's about 5 of the series saw, and like I said, I've got enough parts to build one more complete one here, I know. And then, you know, we'll have some leftover parts, and it wouldn't take a lot of Farmer Tech stuff to honestly build another one. So, you know, it may be time to let some saws go. I've grown kind of partial to the saw many colors. That thing, it just flat out rips, and you know, it's not a real high compression build either. I put a gauge on that thing and it was making like 150 psi, but I'm trying to remember if memory serves me right, it wasn't one of those that had super tight squish either, but you know, just a real good strong saw. You know, there is that point where you know, there's no replacement for displacement. I know people would argue that, but you know, it is what it is. Everybody has their own thoughts and theories, and you know, is what it is. But we'll get this old thing out back and make a few cuts for you guys just for watching the video. And I'm really not in the mood to do a complete case disassembly here today and redo a saw, but kind of a dang shame on that being busted out. You'd be surprised at how many saws I've got here, not just Huskies but others that, you know, that's busted out. And I know someone's probably gonna say just JB weld it or epoxy it and drill it back out. Not on a felon spike, it would never hold. I could probably pay somebody to TIG weld it back up and drill and tap it back out, but by the time you done that, you may as well just buy another case half or tear it down and swap it out. But you know, for me, myself, something to play with, I really don't care. I'd use those cases, but for something that I'm potentially wanting to get rid of, we're just gonna eventually do it right, I guess. But I'll see you guys back at the test log, I guess. Alright guys, the sun is shining through here and kind of got that monitor blown out, so hopefully we can see what's going on here. I wasn't expecting to have to choke it again. No way that saw's down on compression as bad as we were getting. Okay guys, so I pulled the excuse me, the plug wire off outside. Plug is still warm. Don't handle hot spark plugs. Let's check compression again, see where we're at. I'm just going to yank it a few times just to make sure that there's nothing in the cylinder. This all feels about the same to crank, but I have, what was it, maybe 120 psi, 115, 120. Saw flat out rips. That chain's really aggressive. I don't know that it's any slower in that size of wood and that cut, which, you know, it's kind of hard to tell in that size of wood. If we were in something bigger, I'm sure it'd show its laziness, but we'll just have to see. If it ain't built compression 10 or 12 pulls, it ain't going to. Pick you guys up. Hopefully you can see it's just a touch below 120, so we didn't really pick up nothing by running it, but you can just tell by the way it sounds cranking it. I've seen that before. I've seen some saws that, you know, don't have super high compression flat out rip, and then others that are just horrible. that's kind of where the, in my opinion, the crankcase of all, and I was pushing on that saw hard. I was not babying at all. I went full send on it. Thought, well, we're rebuilding the bottom end anyway. If it blows up, it blows up, whatever. And I've honestly got everything here. If I wanted to, it is aftermarket, to do a big bore top end with 272 piston in it. But like I said earlier, you know, all of this is going to be another day. Someone may get a hold of me and say they want it as is, but I don't know if I'd really want to let go of it as is. I'm not too keen on letting good projects, ain't too keen on letting go of them, but you know, it's a pretty good little video here for the day, I guess. And looks like that front bolt, no, it's all the way down, probably just the old plastic. We'll just have to see. It's got potential, and I've still got, you know, plenty of the automotive orange paint that we used on mine and Simple Man's. I kind of want to, I've got enough probably to do 10 saws. I've got a whole quart and we've barely used any out of it, but I'm going to do it on the 288 as well, paint it with that orange. I think it was a maybe high gloss competition orange or something we used on it. It's really similar to like the color on this, or this faded out plastic up top, but there's a lot of arguments out there and a lot of theories, and I get every one of them. I sit and listen to everybody, and that's how I've come up with my own style of porting. I kind of, you know, a lot of just trial and error over the years. You know, the 61 open port design, it had a good 7, I think it had 120, what was it, 128 PSI, somewhat I don't remember. And, you know, when about that same size of wood, it was a little bigger. It was like 12, 13 inches when I measured it. But, you know, going from 10 inches to 12 really ain't that big of a difference until you get up to, you know, 18, 20 inches of wood. You know, that's when your cut time goes to slowing down just a little bit. And I've done a lot of timed cuts here on saws, just testing different things. Don't video and show everything, you know, like I've said in the past. I've got to be in the mood to video, and the camera can get annoying sometimes, and I'm sure other YouTubers will agree, but the deal with this is it has the big outboard quad port transfers, you know, better intake port design, more CCs, all of it comes into play. Don't get me wrong, compression's a big role in it. You know, if you can start out with 200, 180, 200 PSI, you know, you've got some good grounds there making one strong saw. But just because a saw's not making that kind of compression don't mean that you can't make it run good. You know, I'd mentioned it earlier, like the saw many colors, and I put that new gauge on it. I was really surprised. Like 155 PSI. And I've had that saw like buried in, you know, big wood, and it just, you know, it don't phase it. So, you know, no replacement for displacement, and, you know, crankcase volume and transfer volume does play a big role in it. So, so I kind of wonder about the, you know, I'm not going to call them a crowd, but the guys that don't believe in opening up the lowers or doing stuff. I don't know, I've done timed cuts here on steel saws to where, and you guys have noticed it in videos too when I do the before and after, when I case feed the lowers on the steel saws. It just like they get more responsive, they hold RPM better in the cut, but you know, you've got certain people that say not to do it, that you're killing your saw. I've got McCullough's here that I've got one 1010 here. Basically, all I really done to it was really opened up the lowers to where they could case feed. And you know, it was a big difference from running that saw in stock form to where it is now. You know, we cleaned up the exhaust port a little bit, but I didn't really go crazy widening it or raising it. You know, I didn't want to lose compression and didn't want to risk hanging a ring on those where they're not a pinned ring. So, you know, it is what it is. But if I handed someone this saw with this combination, or I could put my 28 on it and in some big wood, and I'm sure it would still perform okay. You wouldn't believe that it had less than 120 psi. It is what it is. That's the same gauge. It's new. I gave about $60 for it at Advance. That we put on the 61 and checked compression before and after with, and you know, it's within 5 psi of my old gauge that I paid $1 for at the flea market. So, you know, it is what it is, but, you know, you can kind of tell she ain't. I think this saw might have made 140 when it was new, 145. Someone will correct me, but from what research I've done, that's kind of what these series of saws made. You probably get those freaks that make a little more, but yeah, with that said, I'm going to quit running my mouth. This is, I ain't going to call it a slap in the face, but, you know, I had plans for this saw today. I had 5 or 6 hours to play with here this evening, and we'll just have to find another project to get into, but it ain't going to be a complete, you know, case split rebuild. This one will just be put on the back burner for a while, I guess, but anyway, with that said, everybody stay safe, and y'all have a good weekend.